Hi, this is Kathy DeHart with DeHart Construction Services, located right here in the Inland Empire. You know, we're a family-owned business, and today our youngest member of our family is visiting. Kinsey, can you say hi?
Hi.
Now, Kinsey, I have an important question for you. Where do you think food comes from?
A market store?
You're right. But before it gets to a market, we have farmers and dairies and all kinds of other people who make food. Do you remember hearing that?
Uh-huh.
And then we have people who have to keep the food cold.
And guess what?
What?
I remember we getting strawberries at a little market.
Well, Papa and I, we work with companies that make food and keep food cold and gets it to the grocery stores.
That's cool.
DCS is a proud supporter of the American Dream. For all of your cold storage or food facility needs, visit our website at chillwithdheart.com. Once again, chillwithdheart.com. Serving all of California, CSLB 949062.
Thinking you a thug now, everybody wanna gang bang till you get the bang bang blood in and it gonna be blood out. Living your life on the edge, walking around.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Welcome to another edition of the Legs at War Room. We started a little late. We're having some technical difficulties. The devil's a liar, but we're on, you guys, and we think it's important to come on. And before I do that, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor. If you guys caught them, and you guys need some sort of help in that area, you guys reach out to them because it's always important that they put into us, and you guys know Legs that we're putting it down, and they support us, so you guys should support them. So we got our brother Alfred joining us today. Bam, 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 and we got Jesse, the founder of Legs, and yeah. So I want to dive into this, you guys, because you know it's important. We got a lot of things going on. But first thing we want to dive into, Jess and Alfred, is Tucker. So let's get this out the way real quick. They did our boy Tucker foul. That's the reason why we watch Fox News, right? I mean, I don't even really watch Fox News. But that's because I always like the way his take on stuff. And then I was like, he's pissing everybody off. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think they got rid of him? Do you think they parted ways? What do you think happened?
I think they just did him dirty, but that really hurts because that was like the only last real news out, the real good person out. You know what I mean? There's nobody really else. Maybe you might say Laura Ingraham is okay, whatever, but Tucker was the best, our best one. So that definitely hurts us a lot, but I just know that he's going to come out with something. Whatever he comes out with is going to be big, bro, because everybody knows he was the best. He was calling out. And to me, it was just the deep state, bro. It was just the same deep state, same thing took out Trump, same thing that we've been seeing with all this stuff. That's who it was. But Tucker was just speaking too much truth, and they can't have that. You know, even when exposing the January 6th and just all that stuff, he was exposing. He was even calling out both sides. He's even calling out Republican shady stuff, not doing nothing. You know what I mean? Tucker was the best, bro. But I just say that hurts journalism, bro, because now you might really say that journalism's dead because without Tucker, bro, there ain't no good. I will never watch Fox no more.
100%. I think for the most part, the situation that's going on with Tucker, man, everybody, after the dust settled, we're starting to see a lot of things that are culminating with this situation, right? For example, somebody mentioned that there's just a couple of more lawsuits coming up towards Tucker because of a hidden manager that I guess there were some recordings that prompted him to speak foul on certain things, certain situation. Again, these are all speculations, but I think overall, think about this. Fox just came out of a huge lawsuit, $787 million that were just given to a Dominion lawsuit. So in this, and there's still some implications where there's other hosts that are being named in that same lawsuit. So now with this new lawsuit that's supposedly starting to boil over, I think Fox just said, we can't handle this. We can't handle this. Is going to be an open. We're going to open the floodgates to multiple lawsuits here, and I think that's like Jesse mentioned. This is a very dangerous when you have shows like The Views with the 2.8 million viewers within a week. And right now, we just saw Tucker just went on less than 24 hours, and he pulls in 62 million people on Twitter, views on Twitter. So that makes you think. That it makes you think that there's, like Jesse mentioned, there's a deep state. There's something in the back end, and I think everybody's starting to see. So
Said, man. So, another thing too, I think, and I talked about it when we were on with Tyson too. And I think a lot of people, if you look at it, because a lot of people, where people kind of go wrong is they think to themselves, why would conservative, like, why would Fox do that? They're gonna lose so much money. Like, why would they do that, right? So everybody's always like, why? But when we realize that it's always compromise. And at the end of the day, money aside, it's about an agenda, you guys. We're going to keep on saying this. If the agenda is bigger than money, because the devil can't take money with them to hell, but he can take you with them to hell. He can't take your kids and your brother and your sister to hell. So they're going to keep on pushing their agenda, and it's more than that, right? And Republicans chase the money. That's what you know how it goes, and we compromise and whatever else. But I think that's the bigger picture. It's the agenda. Someone like Tucker had a big voice. He made people think. He had a lot of common sense. He was very rational when he explained things. He was calm. He joked about it, and he came from a point of view where you didn't feel offended when he told you the truth. And that's very, very dangerous when it comes to the other side, because they don't like somebody that pulls numbers like that and wakes people up. They don't like it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with, like what Alfred said, was the money. But that's like having Kobe Bryant in his prime and you trade him or you give him away. Like, who does that? Like, he was their number one. He got like the highest ratings in news anywhere. Nowhere else has the highest rated news, all of that, and you just get rid of them like that. And because I know they were scared. They know that he was already exposing stuff. They probably were all biting their nails when he was exposing the January 6th and all that. And he sees how they're going after Trump, why, for any little thing like that. Like you said, the owners were probably figuring that he was bound to say something, and then they were going to sue them again for that. But to me, even that was fake weakness, because Fox has been bad for years. Ever since when they got bought out and all that, they've been going left, 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 left. And to me, this is because that was even a stupid move, I thought, when they settled and all that with Dominion and all that. Like, why'd you do that? You know what I mean? To me, it was a righteous. You know what happened in that election and all that, but that gave the left. So many of the left were commenting, clowning at that after all that had happened. So I thought even that was a mistake. But you don't do that. Something's because you don't let your biggest high money as a business, you know what I'm saying? As a business, even owner and all that, he's your number one asset, whatever. And you just let him go like that for just no apparent reason. Then he see how even they didn't even trust him. Another thing that's funny, they didn't even let him have like one last show. They said his last show was last show. Because I even thought when it first said, I was like, oh, okay, one more show, he's going to come out. You know, because they set a date. His last show was, and I thought, oh, I didn't know the date. So I was like, oh, the time was going to come on again. Okay, so I'm going to see. He's going to explain everything. They didn't even let him come on and explain because they were scared of what he might have said. Because you at least let him have one more goodbye show or whatever. They didn't even let him have that. And then Tucker's been kind of quiet. And he's been quiet and all that. So I don't know, something big. But behind the scenes, I mean, he was calling it though. Tucker, he was calling it on the deep state, all that, and it was real. And he was the only one, bro. I'm telling you, he was like the main one calling out. He was even calling out the war and the Ukraine. That he was the main one. But all the stuff that you know that the globalists are pushing, all the main things, Tucker was the only one attacking, exposing all of their agenda, and then magically he gets fired. You know what I mean? When he's the best there is out there. To me, it's just now they have a monopoly, bro. Now they own everything. Everything's sold up. Now there's no big that really hurt us. Even if he does come up with something, but that's still, regardless, it hurt us. It hurt us bad. And I just hope everybody in protest stop watching Fox News.
Yeah, I just I don't know, man. You remember when Bill O'Reilly was on, and then they ended up firing him? Remember all that? And you know what's crazy is it's always like anywhere at work. If you guys ever work somewhere, and you know that squeaky clean guy that always does all the right things and never gets in trouble and all that, And remember what they did to Bill O'Reilly, right? They found a reason. They're like, you did this and that, and they've been doing that to a lot of people, right? Well, I think with Tucker, they always wanted to get rid of him. They just didn't want to make it obvious to other conservatives. You know what I mean? Like they didn't want, because there's still a lot of grandmas and grandpas, people that are not on social media that watch Fox News, right? They'll go and they don't listen, they don't know that Fox is bought out. They're just like Fox or CNN, I'm going to Fox. But when they hear all of a sudden, oh, he's leaving because of something, somebody filed a lawsuit, a woman allegedly said blah 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 blah, and that's the reason, because the dude was so squeaky clean. They finally found somebody. Somebody probably just came forward, filed a lawsuit for whatever reason, and they were like, okay, we got him. We finally got somebody filed a lawsuit. We're just gonna get rid, just like Bill Wright. We're just gonna be done with it, you know. And
But
I
you
think that's
understand
what they're
that's
waiting on.
their main tactic of the New World Order, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. See how they every time they throw some false accusations or something to mess up the credibility of whoever that is. They always do that. If you know, if you studied them at all, they commonly do that. Any person that comes out speaking to them, they get him arrested on some bogus charges. They ruin his reputation. That's just another tactic from the globalists and all of that. We know who's all behind it, but yeah, we just gotta hope he comes out with something, and then just everybody go watch that, whatever comes out, bro. Watch, and then well, before Alfred goes on, we're gonna have a call in. Anybody, if you want to call in, Alfred's gonna put a number up, and you guys can call and ask whatever questions or whatever you guys want. But go ahead, Alfred. Can't hear you. We can't hear you, Alfred. Alfred. Oh, go ahead, right. Can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Before we change subjects real quick, I just like Jess was saying, if you want to stick up for what's right, or you don't want to see the agenda push, stop watching Fox. I know a lot of us, everybody says I'm not watching Fox, but you guys, a lot of you guys do watch Fox, and you guys watch the Gunfield show, and where's his name? I don't even know that dude's name, but you guys watch it. So you just say, you know what, I'm done with you guys, because in the bigger scheme of things, you guys are only letting out what you want to let out, and for the sake of entertainment, I say just stop watching it, man. Who even cares?
Exactly.
So real quick, man, let's get into this whole transgender thing that's going on. There was a viral video this week that came out of a transgender high school boy it's a boy, that's exactly what it is, dressed as a little girl, came out and pretty much assaulted a girl. So it was a male assaulting a female, but this wasn't his first offense. He's done it before, and they're letting him get away with it. It is a man attacking a woman, and for some reason, if any other situation, if it was just a regular man attacking a woman, the left will be going crazy, because they would be screaming this toxic masculinity, this guy, we need to get rid of these men that are just, and they would be screaming crazy. But the minute it happens, and they're dressed like a woman and they look like a liberal, guess what? And it's wrong either way. In any situation, it's wrong. But we call it out on both sides, and this shows their bias. It shows their bias when it comes to their ideology, and they don't really care for women. I mean, think about this. The Me Too movement, this movement that champions women, will literally let a man beat on a woman and not say a word. Like, do you really care about women, or all you care is about having people think the way you want them to think, however you're feeling at that time? You know what? We're feeling this way. Let's champion this. You know what? Let's champion this. Let's champion that. People that have no moral compass do not know when to stop and draw the line. I mean, it's just ridiculous, Jess. I know you're the one who posted that video and it went viral. And I don't know, man. What's your take on this?
I think they just hit me on Facebook before, and I was trying to log in right here. They hit me for that same video, and we've also had a second video, and it was even more worse, of him beating up some other girls and all that. So there were several videos of him beating him, and then we got several messages from a couple of mothers and stuff from that school, people from that school area, and they said that the guy, he didn't even get suspended, bro, that they even went to the principal or whatever, and they told him he didn't even get suspended. So imagine, because look, Not only he's a tranny, a black tranny. That's even double jeopardy right there, where nothing happened to him because it must be a leftist old principal or whatever it is over there. But imagine that he's been attacking women, bullying them, and all of that. He's been going into their restroom. He's been going in their locker rooms and all that. And the girls are over there speaking up against it. And this guy's viciously beating up, fighting with um all these young girls. And what's even more sad is that all the guys, like how could they allow that? It was only one guy that came up and was trying to defend the girls. Like, I guess they don't make them like they used to. I don't know what's all with these young boys and all that. They should have been all over that dude as soon as he touched any of the girls. They should have let him have it. You know what I mean? Like that. But yeah, it's just disgusting that how that could happen. And like A-Rod said, so as long as it's a tranny, then he's allowed to beat up women. So that's all he has to imagine. So that's why they always say, these leftists and all that, about white privilege and all that stuff, which is always nonsense. It's liberal privilege. You know what I mean? You
Right.
might say it's the alphabet mafia privilege because they let the leftists and all that, they get away with murder out there. Because if it was anybody else that was doing that, imagine if it was like a racist. Imagine if it was a white guy was beating up some black women or something like that. It would be all wall to wall coverage everywhere. There'd be protests, probably riots, everything out there. All that they would probably, he would be in jail and all that. Charges pressed against him, all that. But this kid that did that, he didn't even get suspended, bro. Straight up liberal privilege.
Says equal rights, equal fights. I told my boy, man, you ever see something like that? A boy hitting on a girl, you better handle business. My son Will, man, we raise soldiers over here, bruh. Anyways, yeah, shout out to my son. I just want to let you guys know that my son, during the week, the majority of the time, does 2 hours of jujitsu and does 2 hours of wrestling. And anybody that's ever done wrestling knows the extreme pain. They put you in 90-degree weather, exhausting his body 4 hours. And we're trying to teach our boys. We're trying to raise. Look, let me tell you what goes on. You got a conservative family. On Mondays through Wednesdays, I take my son to jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and Fridays and competition class Saturday. In a liberal household, on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, they go out and buy these boys dresses, right? They go and buy them dresses, buy them fingernail whatevers and eyelashes and everything else. And that's the difference. And I'm telling you guys, if you guys raise men, raise them right, this won't happen. Raise them godly. On Sundays, we go to church, we read the Bible, we pray before we go to bed. We do what's right. We respect people. And we're expecting you boys to stand up. You see this? You stand up. You don't let this happen to these girls. If it's your sister or if it's not your sister, even if you don't like the little girl, you do not let a little boy put his hands on a girl like that. This is wrong. And I said it in a video before. I feel like we're the adults in the room. And we're the ones sitting here saying, hey, I just want to let you know, you guys are playing dress up and basically playing dress and abusing little girls. And you're a boy. And you would think, like, what, Jess, man, what happened in the last 5 years where nobody really, except people that know, like, that are on the right and pretty much conservative, think this is okay? Even before, even during the Obama years, they would say something like this was wrong. But now they're not even saying it. Like, even during the Obama years, they would have said this is wrong. And now they're turning a blind eye, it seems like, because like anything else, they want their agenda to be pushed. And I'm like, really? We're letting our kids being assaulted? Like, why do you care so much? Like, I just don't get it. It's same thing with the manifestos when you go onto the high school. Oh, be quiet because it was a transgender and they were bullied. It's like everything that's wrong and immoral is covered up, and they're turning a blind eye to it if it's a part of their agenda or they don't want to own up to their own mistakes. It's crazy.
Yeah, if they're trans, they'll get away with anything now. That's all. I even seen like a couple of funny memes and little cartoons that was saying that, where the guy's like committing crimes, and he says, "Don't worry, I'm trans," and then they're like, "Oh, okay," then they let him go. Like, no, they're not gonna arrest him and all that. It's just bad. But right now, imagine, so all the mothers are proud of the shout out to the mothers. So imagine, because that principal and all of them over there at that school did nothing about it, so they're all over there protesting over there in Riverside today. They were all out there protesting at the school board meeting, saying, "Why is this kid still at the school? Why is he still allowed there after he's beating up the girls and all?" But like I said, it just shows too the fakeness of the feminist movement. They're just all fake. All that's why any of you women that got manipulated by the feminist movement, it's no good. It's just leftist, Marxist propaganda. They don't really care about women. They don't really care about you. First, they're taking women's sports and all that, and all. Now they're saying that they're women and they're degrading women. Like the best at everything is a man. That's so like I don't know how women could not be offended, but so now look what it is. So it went from all of those things, women just let it happen. They weren't really saying much. Now it's to so these dudes can start beating women up now. All they have to say is so imagine even any of them they just beat up and then just say oh that they're trans or whatever. It's gonna get like that. It's gonna get worse and worse, and they're gonna be saying that they're because they say that they're women. They say that they can get pregnant. They say they can have periods and all that. So they're gonna say that it's okay. I guess he's a woman, so just like he could compete in sports, it's okay if he beats up women. Go ahead, Alfred.
100%. Hey, overall, man, we're starting to see the decaying of of America. We're starting to see how everything is good. It's just like Bibles. The Bible talks about that. It says everything that we'll call good, the good that we'll call bad, and the bad that we'll call good. So the same thing that is happening, the same thing we're seeing now is this opens up just a lot of opportunities for those weirdos, you know what I mean, for those people that can easily say, I mean, right now we're starting to see news in UK, and again, the media is not for us, right? You're not going to see certain things in the media. For example, the last shootings that we've had in the last couple of things is because of disturbed mental people that have that particular ideology, and we got to call it for what it is. You know what I mean? This is the ideology that people are bringing in, and this is what corporations are doing now. See, not only in hand with the corporations, but also in education, colleges. You know what I mean? If everybody's speaking the same thing in regards to this, what happens? People are so gullible, man. People are so easily attracted by evil, right? Because as we know, as human beings, man, we get attracted by evil, right? And the reality is this is wrong, and this is just a sad time for women, so men and women, we need to all stand up for this and say this is wrong, and stand firm for truth. You know what I mean? So the same thing is happening out here in every single district that we're going here in Orange County. The same thing. We're seeing it everywhere. People are seeing it happen. And I feel, Jesse, that and A-Rod, I think people are numb, bro. They're just seeing all these things and they're numb. They don't know what to make of it. I mean, I have conversations with people and they come back and say, bro, I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to say or how to say it. How do I put a stop to it?
We're in the twilight zone. But Alfred,
Right.
go ahead and put the number up on the screen, Roth. They could call
Yes,
it, but go
sir.
ahead. Roth.
Numbers actually in all the chats. We've put in the number 714-464.
Yeah.
What
All right.
we're gonna we're here
Go
or
ahead.
four and to get a couple calls. All right.
Go ahead, Aaron.
So you know what I think too is a lot of people are asleep at the wheel, and I'm sure Alfred's been out there. A lot of people you talk to, um, when you, and I know you guys experience, and everybody that's watching, anybody that's watching right now, you guys have experienced this. You ever talk to somebody and then they tell you no, because I hear it all the time. Where no, Antonio, that's not happening, right? And then when it does happen, they're like, I can't believe it. And here's the thing, the left is good. This is where I give, and I don't, and what I mean by giving them credit is they're accomplishing their goals. I'm not for it. I hate it. It's sin. They're going to be held accountable. But this is what they do. They do two things, right? They do one thing, but they actually implement stuff. They have a whole nother crew that goes out there and they legislate when it comes to legislation. And here's the thing: we could always sit here and say, "Look, we gotta see what legislation is coming through. We gotta fight legislation, but we need to get our own people." And I think that's the hard part, is because what even my own union, we just got to raise with our city, right? But in that little clause in the background, we have to now start calling people he, she, him, her, all this stuff. So it was like, hey, take $3 more an hour, everybody, or
You see Sodom, we don't want to repeat that. He's
fine print in the back. We're like, what can we do, right? So this is where they're good at it. Is they didn't come and protest. They didn't sit there and go, we're this, we're this. They just slipped it in just like they always do. And we need to be smarter, more strategic. We know that things are always going to get worse, but dang, man, we're about throwing a couple wins for us sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, can we get a couple wins? You know, because because when you're in it all the time, people get. And here's another thing too. And I think that we need to honestly, and this is to the conservative people, and I hope you guys are listening. We need to really, 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 when we talk and we speak, and coworkers hear us, family and friends hear us that may not be conservative, choose your words wisely, because sometimes they can become numb to us. Because we're talking, every time Trump says something, don't sit there and go, yeah, see, I told you Trump was this. Hey, I told you, because they tuned you out. So when you have something that's really important and you know it's really going to move them, and you tell them, and they're just already blocked you off. So read your audience. No, if certain people are already going to feel the way they feel about Trump, hey, don't fool with that. But let them know about the LGBTQ plan. Let them know about all this other stuff, maybe stuff that they might be like, don't constantly do that, because I know a lot of times people shut us out and they're just like, man, these same old, we're like that crazy Christian that's just hallelujah every 5 seconds, and they just shut us out. So we need to be smarter when it comes to that as well. I know coworkers, when they hear me talk, they go running the other way, and I'm like, dang. So maybe I should choose, my words a little bit more wisely. We're not just constantly throwing up that. We need to be a little smarter, because they're doing it too. Like I said, they're implementing little things when we're not paying attention, and it's already too late for us to fight it. We fight against it, but they have so many things coming our way.
But it's like you said, A-Rod, that people sometimes they don't believe it. That's what you have to tell them. But also, see, that's why sometimes they'll get mad at us at some of the stuff we post. Like, why are you guys posting that? We don't want to see it and all that. And I'll tell them, because a lot of people won't believe it unless we see it. You know what I mean? We'll tell people, hey, they're pushing this dragon. Like A-Rod said, regular, average people that ain't invested in all that, they ain't going to believe it, or they're not going to take it at heart. They're going to be like, they're not even going to pay too much about it. But if they see the actual video of them right there doing drags for little kids right there, or like that, the video of that tranny beating up the girls and all that, then that's going to ingrain in their mind. They're going to see that, and they're going to remember, and it's going to help them to remember, because if they don't see it, or if we don't tell them, they're not going to really pay attention. That's why we post and all that, what we do, because we're trying to give the real, like, stuff that the fake media should be showing. They don't. But see, it's just a big thing coming, guys. It's a big storm coming, man. It's coming because you see how they took out Tucker. So that was the last of the Mohicans right there. They took out Tucker, and then we see, like how I just said, that video that I posted right here on Facebook, they hit me. So that's what they're going to start doing on social media. They're already shadow banning us, just all harassing us. So that's the next thing. They're going to start shutting down a bunch more accounts and just harassing us. And then they have no one. It's just like communism. It's like full-blown communism coming on us, where they're shutting them. Remember before, they're burning up all the books and all that. That's how common it is. They don't want no other. That's how the left is. Even if you didn't see that before that happened to Tucker, we posted a video of AOC, even Schumer, and all these fools were going out there saying, oh, that we should they need to ban Tucker and all this and that. Like, what? So just because if somebody doesn't agree with you, ban them? See, that just shows you the communist left, how they are. That you have to believe, listen to whatever they say. You have any questions or something, ban you. You see how that is? And it's just the only sad part is it's only going to get worse, because, like I always say, Republicans ain't doing nothing about it. They're over there doing it, all this. They're not getting no pushback. The Republicans ain't doing nothing in any shape or form to try to stop any of this. So they're just going to keep going, the Democrats.
Yeah, 100%. I think overall go ahead, Aaron.
I want to hear what you got to say.
No, I was going to say we're in dangerous waters. I think overall we're reaching we're reaching kind of like the crossroads. We're reaching the crossroads where this, the democracy, the word democracy becomes, a pall for many of us. And the reason why we say, the reason why I'm saying this carefully is because, as you all know, what democracy are they talking about? Because everything that I've been hearing from certain sources, news, the attack on our democracy, or AOC saying, and this is an attack on our democracy. Schumer, an attack in our democracy. Remember, all of this. Somebody mentioned to me, this is just the way they program people. They have to speak the same points. They have to nail down the same things because guess what? They're easily persuadable. For example, we heard about, Joe running for 2024, right? And I know you guys were laughing about it. We're laughing about it, but the funny thing about it is there's no primaries. So what does that tell you? Think about the democracy. Remember, we were talking about this word, democracy. And when you nail down the most important thing about democracy, which is you have primaries. This is known for more than 60 years that people get to see the new ideas, the new people that are joining the parties. And the Democrat Party just says no primaries. We're sticking with Joe Biden. And that's scary. The scary part about this whole thing is because what have we seen over the last 3 years? This guy is easily persuadable, meaning that he can make any changes. He's easily manipulated. For example, I just looked at one of the news posts. The New York Times actually posted. It says, "We don't need a healthy president." Can you imagine that? The New York Times is telling you guys in advance. If we don't start paying attention to what they're saying, the New York Times is already saying we don't need a healthy president. Well, what's going to happen in the next year? Is he going to go into hiding and go into what's going to happen with this president? So they're already telling you like the government can take control of a president, no matter if this. Wait a minute, the government, the same one that just locked us in for 2 years, the same government that wants to implement the IRS to come and attack us and take with guns, full blazing. The same government that actually wants to vaccinate your kids, even though there's a VAERS reporting system that made by the government and is telling them things. I don't want to get us banned, but this is the truth. This is what's happening. This is their democracy. And we got to pay close attention when these people are speaking. You know what I mean? Sorry, I took a little bit more time.
No, go ahead. And that's a good transition into we're talking. Let's talk about Biden because I wanted to get into that as well. And I have a take on it. And I feel like, for myself, they know Biden sucks, right? I mean, they know Biden. I mean, and anybody you talk to, I don't care who you talk to, everybody will be like, I don't like Biden as Democrat, right? Or they'll be like, well, he's not that bad. So what they're trying to do, what I feel like they're trying to do is two things. And it's very smart because people are like this. People love to hate the other side. It's like anything else. When you have a clique, you could have a street gang and be like, hey, look at those fools over there. They do what, da, 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 da. And your crew does the same exact thing, but it's not your crew. It's them, right? So as long as you focus on the other side, you don't have to look at your own side, right? So they do two things. They sit there and they bash Trump, right? Because they have to, because they can't talk about Biden's accomplishments. So let's just keep this fool, because right now it's toned down, right? When it comes to his legal, believe me, in the next year, it's going to be at the highest level of news, whatever. And I thought about this last night. I had an epiphany. I woke up and I said, they did this to us in 2020. I remember 6 months before they started censoring everybody that was going to go against their plan. So this is what we're going to do. Let's take out Tucker. Let's take out so-and-so. Anybody that's going to talk against this, them going against Trump, anybody talking about saying that it's foul, that they're going against them in the court system, or they're trying to keep out Tucker. All these big names, let's get at them ahead of time. So when it actually happens, guess what? The only news they're hearing is the one they want. And last night I woke up and I was like, wow, I remember them doing. I lost my page. I'm nobody. But a lot of people got censored. People got hit. They did that beforehand. All of a sudden, boom, they implemented this stuff. Trump gets out there, all of a sudden, and then they'll go and they'll make excuses. Biden, he's not doing so well, and everybody goes, "You're right." The biggest thing is, I mean, he's a good guy. It's Trump's evil. Biden, he is old. You're right. So you're right. They're conditioning everybody to realize this dude's getting old, but he's a better option than this. Let's take out the ones that are going to talk about it the most, and let's move on to this next round. And people need to be aware of that. And I think that's what we're not. We're always reacting afterwards. We're never proactive. And I, like Jeff said, I blame Republicans. Weak Republicans that know the game, they see it happen all the time, and they're sitting back going, oh, yeah, well, as long as I have a job, I'm all good. I'm not going to say nothing. You know what I mean? Just elect me next time. I'll fight for you. And it's like, really, how hard are you fighting? Nothing. Nobody's been, no conservative judges are throwing subpoenas at nobody, right? Nobody's pressuring them to do nothing. Nothing's happening. And they're all going to sit here and play this game. And then when it happens, we're going to sit there, watch it play out, and we're just going to sit there going, wow, this sucks. Because it's a big old game, and it's a big old party, and we're not invited to it. We're just spectators. And the people that we're electing, we don't even hold them accountable, and it's this vicious circle. And I just hope that we see, because I really, for myself, feel like they did this to Tucker to basically shut him up when the crap hits the fan, and Trump starts to get all these legal stuff, and he's to be the one to speak out. They're done got rid of him. You know what I mean? Like, we got rid of this fool. So, that's just my theory on it. I don't know.
Yeah, but imagine ever since when Trump got arrested and all that, all conservatives were saying, yeah, the Republicans are going to get him for this, and how dare they, and all that. I'm like, what? And we were calling it, they ain't going to do nothing. They ain't going to do nothing. And even to when McCarthy was going to come in, they were like, yeah, when McCarthy goes in there and that again, he's going to do this and that. Well, look at nothing. He hasn't done nothing since he's been in there. None of our guys had, like you said, haven't brought up no charge like they should have been had charges against Obama, Hillary, all of them. Not one of our guys did nothing, not anything. They're not going to. And then people were hating on us, getting mad at us because we said that. And look, who was right? You think we like saying that? But we're realists. You have to say what's the truth. You can't keep being in la la land over there. That's why they keep. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the losing. I'm tired of all of this because of these spineless cowards. Also, you have to call them out, and we're right. But to me, with this creepy Joe, to me, it's a total joke. Like A-Rod said, I don't know anybody that even thinks that Joe Biden's good. I mean, even before, like, let's say Obama or whoever, there'll be Democrats, they actually like him. Obama thought he was good or whatever. Nobody, you go to any, even blacks, Latinos, whatever, even if they hate Trump or all that, they'll say they don't like Biden. Everybody knows, what has he done? He hasn't done now one good accomplishment in there. Only thing that him and all of them do is for the gay community and the trans, and that's the only thing that he's trying to do for that community. I can see that. But no, so that was like total. Who would put him in there when he's like the worst president in history? No one likes him. He goes to events and all that. They're all empty. He can't even talk. He's a joke, a laughing stock to the whole world. To me, it just shows that the New World Order that they perfected, what they do with the elections. I can't say it because we'll get hit or whatever. But you guys know what they did the last election. It just shows me that they honed in, that they've improved it, whatever, that they know. This time it'll be foolproof because there's no way that who would vote for Creepy Joe. It was a joke last time. He got 80,000 votes, whatever they said it was. Total joke. It'll even be a bigger joke this time. You know what I mean? It's like a total joke, but they're just blatant now. They're just blatant because now that they know, like I said, like we always say, look, they got away with it last time, scot-free, nothing happened. So they're like I said, they probably even improved it. A little bit of areas where we were almost exposing them, whatever. They probably touched all those little up. They're still fixing their little whatever. So they're going to even do it easier the next time. Man. Yeah, so that's all I see because no one in their right mind would run Creepy Joe out there again. It's just a total joke.
I think, and even that, after the latest polls, I mean, we're starting to see 50% of Democrats do not want. They didn't want Joe Biden to run. You know what I mean? Like they did not want this guy to run. 50% of Democrats, not including all of us, right? Everybody that's seen it, 70% of the U.S. population says Yeah, he's not doing nothing for this country. In fact, we're still continuing to see the high inflations. We're still continuing to see the open borders. We're still trying to figure out who bombarded the Nord Stream 2, right? And they're, I mean, we jumped into conspiracies here and there, but the reality of this, look, look what happened. Oh my gosh, man. I am like you. I'm feeling, sometimes you feel defeated, and thank you, Jesus, that, you know, our trust is not in the man, these people. But man, you're starting to see. Look what happened in Sudan just the last 5 days. I mean, Victoria Nuland visits the country just roughly about 2 weeks ago, saying we're gonna come in here and bring you our democracy. And look what happened, full on. And I know I'm jumping from one to another, and thank you for allowing me to talk about this. But this is something that's we're seeing. Look, that's the same Nuland who actually was in Ukraine, who's actually doing all this nonsense, you know, with Ukraine, and now she's in Sudan. So what are we doing, man? What is the United States doing, focusing on other countries and bringing this stability to European nations? And and over here, while we're open borders, high inflations, people don't no baby formulas. You know what I mean? High eggs, high cost on eggs. You know, and I know that it slowed down a little bit, but still the inflation is still there. Gas prices are still there. You know what I mean? So instead of us focusing on things that are happening, here we are sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. And this is coming from this president right here, who does not see us as, hey, you know, we're going to work. It's kind of like a pile driver, right? We're just moving on what we want. I don't care about the American people. We don't care about the citizens. We don't care about you voters. And we're over here sitting like, but we're 75 million people. Yeah, but we got 80 and we can't question it. And see, that's the sad part. It's degrading sometimes. So I know how you feel.
Actually, I know we say it's funny to use that phrase, but no, it actually is funny. I seen a video today of Joe Biden walking through the grass, and he looked like Mr. Burns. He looked like he was scared to walk in the grass. He was like, and I'm like, and the caption said, "Is Joe Biden scared to walk on the grass like he was going to fall in a gopher hole?" And I'm like, that's the president of the United States. Like, that's what the world is looking at. The world is looking to, you know, and let's be honest, like, all things aside, people still look at the United States as freedom. When it comes to freedom religiously, or it comes to freedom politically, or just having your own thought, the world does look at us like this, because we're the trendsetters when it comes to everything. We're the melting pot where all different cultures come together and we coexist. So people look at us like that, right? They're like, oh man, and then they see Joe Biden. You know what I mean? Like, you're looking and you see Joe Biden. There is no way in hell that they're going, oh yeah, they're tight. Look at Joe Biden. I know other countries did look at Trump like, that's tight. You know what I mean? Like, he's a boss, right? That's what. And my, like, whatever issues I got with Trump, aside from that, I definitely I can't. I just don't know what the rational in their minds when they're sitting there going, check mark Joe Biden. Like, they have to say check mark, want to lose my money, check mark, don't care about bills, check mark, want to be broke for the next 2 years, check mark. Like, check all that stuff off, because that's what happened. That's what's gonna happen. So you don't care. You literally don't care about any of those things. All you want to do is win, but they played a good trick on them. They've done it. They played the okey doke, you know what I mean, on them to think, oh, don't vote for the racist man. Oh, like, that's one thing. I may disagree with Trump on so many things, but one thing I do know, that man is not racist. So if you didn't vote for him because you thought he was racist, you are a dang fool. Like, I know the Bible says you shouldn't call people, but you are not very smart if you didn't vote for him because you thought he was racist. That is we went to the White House. Why would this dude have 2,000 minorities at the White House? You would think he'd be like, ooh, cooties, right? No, he had us all there. We're all there tatted up. We went in there, 2,000 of us, black, brown, and whatever else we were, and he welcomed us. And he signed stuff benefiting the Latino community, the inner cities, the black community. That's not racist. That's not racist at all. And I just don't get it. The real racist, I'll be honest with you, is Joe Biden. That's the real racist. He said so many racist remarks, him and Hillary Clinton, and they're so blind to it just because of news media. So I like talking about Joe Biden. I don't get it. I haven't met anybody that actually gave me other than we like him better than Trump. I don't get it. I guess they just like all these high gas prices and all this money. They're just, I guess they're rich, bro. People are just dishing out money. I guess they have enough money to do that. I don't know.
And it
So,
was just
so go ahead, Jesse.
go ahead. Yeah, it's funny too, like how Alfred said. Then they won't even let him debate with Kennedy up there because they know it's a total joke. Kennedy will eat him alive. What kind of weird crap is that? It's just true. They want him up there because that's just another inclination that lets me know that Obama's really having his third term behind the scenes, and that's why they want Creepy Joe up there because he's just a puppet up there. They could, they could have, they could be running everything from behind the scenes. But go ahead, Alfred.
So I got a question for you guys. I know we're talking about this and I know we're preaching to the choir, right? So many people are hearing to our conversation. So in your opinion, you guys, what can we do? I mean, we're here in the trenches, as we say. And one of the things that Democrats have been so good at is, the mobilizing of the ballot harvesting. And I instead of the inner fighting that we're seeing this constantly right now, we're starting to see it because it benefits them at the end. They're focused on, okay, we know that within the next year, and so they're going to start reaching out communities. They're going to start tactically attacking, not only bringing in the 200 influencers, right, to hit Gen Z, but also are going to start doing commercials, right? These commercials that you guys are starting to see. I mean, we just saw 2 different commercials that just popped up. And my question is, where is the Democrat Party, man? Where is the Democrat Party on all this? Where are these Democrat parties that are working in districts and working so hard on the grassroots? In your opinion, you guys, what can we do? I mean, since we're in the trenches, what can we do different than
Republicans
we're already doing?
Yeah. And while we're waiting for the answer, if you want to call in or ask the questions, but I also want to talk to you guys about what came out this week also was that there was almost 100,000 undocumented children missing at the border, right? Now, is that a complete outrage? If it was like 500, AOC and the left and all these fake Hollywood Latinos and all of these fakes would be all over there at the border. Oh, Trump. Oh, all these kids and all that. Imagine that. Almost 100,000 missing children at the border. And where's AOC at with her crocodile tears? How come where's AOC? All of these, like I said, all these leftist Hollywood's quiet on it. Like where's the rowdy? You know, they do those stupid videos, those combination videos of all of them saying stuff. Where's those videos saying about these missing children? You notice that the Democrats don't ever talk about the human trafficking. They don't ever want to talk about the rapes going on at the border. They never mention those subjects. But if you're Latinos, you should be pissed off that there's 100,000 missing kids. So imagine what happened to all those kids that they're getting sex trafficked, all that. And it's another failed policy by the Democrats, and we don't hear nothing about it. Hey, where is it at? Where's CNN? All of them, you know what I mean? Where's all these fake old media? That's why you guys should wake up. They're just playing you guys. Eh? That's why they're pushing race, all that stuff about Trump. They don't care, like I said, because they would have the same outrage against Biden. They should be all pissed off. Like I said, they should be all around the border. There should be massive something going on, investigation. Where's these kids? Or something. Nothing. Nothing's going on. Sad.
Jesse, now that you're mentioning this, man, you're talking about this, and it's to me, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that we don't even have the ACLU, right, speaking on behalf, the human rights, right? But here they are, these organizations that are more worried about what El Salvador is doing to the inmates, right? Cleaning out house. They're cleaning out the house. They're 1,000. They used to have approximately 300, about 1,000 people that die out of crimes in El Salvador. And here they are over there worrying about that, but they're not worried about that. In 2020, like we mentioned, like Jesse mentioned, 2022, 100 and something. Just right now, this year, right? We have 70,000 missing.
Almost 100,000.
Almost
It's like it was
100,000.
85, but I heard higher numbers than that. But it's like almost 100,000 missing.
Brother, you can't even, they can't even, I mean, you hear Mayorkas just bumbling and just saying, hey, it's the border secured. Of course it's not. They have a problem and they're seeing it. But the truth matter, man. This is a call to everybody that cares for children. It doesn't matter about no party lines or anything that has to do Democrats or Republicans. Everybody should be speaking out and voicing out that this is not right. This is a child. This is the children that cannot protect themselves, and 100,000 kids are missing. They can't even find them. This is worse than the cages that the pictures came out of. That
It
it
is
was
way worse.
way, I mean, we should be screaming out, screw the cages. Where are the kids? You know what I mean? Well, that's sad.
Go ahead, Aaron.
When I hear all this, it's so sad. But when you put everything into perspective, and you see all these states pass these extreme abortion laws, and then we wonder why nobody cares, and it really, for the most part, falls on a lot of deaf ears, and I heard somebody say this one time, and I was like, how true is that? And I don't know if I'll ever know. Is I was screaming about this one time on a live, and I remember I was like, it was like a year ago, and I remember on the bottom it said, get out of your echo chamber. If you go to a leftist page, they don't care. Kids that are raising up and they're raising them in these colleges, they don't care. We can post 1,000 times about 100,000 kids, and they're like, well, we don't care because we just signed a law that you can abort your kids up to I don't know how many months. You think they really care about kids? They don't care about the unborn. You think they don't care about the born? They don't care. And I think that, going back to what Alfred said, what things can we work on? And this is just me spiritually talking. I feel at the end of the day, we can knock on doors, we can do anything we want to do. But I feel divide is good. I feel like only true victory comes in Christ. I think that's the problem, is when we become more political than we do about Christ, we lose our vision. And I think that everybody's like, we need Christ, but we'll come get you. We need more knocking on doors, and we need more of this. And it's like, well, that's why we've been losing, because it's a spiritual battle. Think about this. We're fighting a spiritual battle. And on the left, they've devoted 100% to the devil. And on our right, we're like, we're going to devote 20% to you and 80%. Tell me who's going to win. You tell me who's going to win. Not the Christians that are just devoting so much time. And I think that's what it comes down to, is people in their own lives need to get themselves together. And yes, we need to go out there and we need to do all these things first. But it's the Lord's not going to hear our prayers if we're not doing what's right in our own lives first. And I think that's where we need to get right from. And that's the only way we're going to fight those battles. I feel this because everybody's always like, why? Because it's a spiritual battle. It is literally a spiritual battle. And I think a lot of people they don't realize that, and they want to believe it. And because like we've seen it a lot of times, me and Jess have been live with politicians that have said they're going to do one thing and then turn around, we're watching them and they don't do it. And they realize they're just being elected and they're just getting there to have a job. And you're like, wow. So if somebody that you're putting in is not spiritually right too as well, they're not going to hold the same standards you believe in, because they don't believe that, right? So I think that Jess was right. We ain't going to compromise when it comes to putting people in there, because you rather have the people you want in there are going to fight. Because what happens when you got a bunch of spineless Republicans in there? You know what I mean? Republicans that compromise.
What's going to happen? What's happening now?
They were trying to remember when they're trying to get trying to come in, and that's his name, Bruce. Jess, we were like the ones that put the stop to that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he remembers, but we were the ones that put a stop to that. Yeah, we literally were. We were the first ones to get on it. We went on live. Everybody started jumping on it, and guess what? That was the end of that. And I don't know. I just feel like we need to put our foot down when it comes to stuff like that. But yeah, we definitely need to put the right politicians in there too as well.
Yeah, Gabriel said, we're the ones that put a stop to that. We were the main ones that were pushing back against Bruce Jenner. But I can't even believe that. Just even shows how out of touch even the Republican side is to even think that would be a possibility to try to put him in there. That's like, Imagine that. That's like the lowest of the low you could go. If the Republican Party did that, we have nowhere to say anything about the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a matter of all they say they're a Republican, then everything's cool like that. But I think that's it, everybody. Any questions, A-Rod? I mean, Alfred, is there any questions?
Real quick.
No, I haven't seen. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Real,
Go ahead, Aaron.
everybody know that it does make a difference when you put your foot down. It does make a difference. When Jenner came out and said that he was going to run, he came out with a certain person. I'm not going to put him on blast because we made peace with this person. Came out with a certain big name. Live, literally live. We're watching it live. And he came out and said, this is who's running. And with Trump's old campaign manager, right? All three of them. Woo! This person was drunk on live. This person follows us. Literally with Bruce Jenner came out and said, I'm going to run. And he was like, I'm championing this. We're going to do it. We went. We started blasting him. The next day, this dude phones Jesse, the dude that was live with Bruce Jenner, and basically said, I was wrong, and was spiritually convicted. That's how you know
That's right.
that we stopped it, because he wanted nothing to do with that campaign no more. And they were the ones to announce it. And that was huge. That's because we didn't compromise and we put our foot down. That was huge. This person got way more followers than we do. Bigger influence than we do. So I just want you to know, once you put your foot down, you don't know who's following you, and God can do anything.
100%.
Amen, A-Rod. But thank you so much for watching. Remember, always, Latinos don't have to be Democrats.
Hi, this is Kathy DeHart with DeHart Construction Services, located right here in the Inland Empire. You know, we're a family-owned business, and today our youngest member of our family is visiting. Kinsey, can you say hi?
Hi.
Now, Kinsey, I have an important question for you. Where do you think food comes from?
A market store?
You're right. But before it gets to a market, we have farmers and dairies and all kinds of other people who make food. Do you remember hearing that?
Uh-huh.
And then we have people who have to keep the food cold.
And guess what?
What?
I remember we getting strawberries at a litter market.
Well, Papa and I, we work with companies that make food and keep food cold and gets it to the grocery stores.
That's cool.
DCS is a proud supporter of the American Dream. For all of your cold storage or food facility needs, visit our website at chillwithdheart.com. Once again, chillwithdheart.com. Serving all of California, CSLB 949062.